Hello everyone, welcome to Caroline's Craft Tree. Today we are going to sew the signature in to the mask make of the tall skinny journals I'm making. Now I was actually hesitant about doing this video on camera because sewing in signatures is not something I'm fond of. And quite often I struggle with it, but I'm going to cross my fingers and I'm going to hope that I don't make a fool out of myself on video. But if I do, you can be sure I'm going to be the first one to laugh about it. So I've got my awl, I've got my needle and thread, I've got my signature, my cover, my template, and my phone book. Now and I got some of these things here. I don't know what they're called, but. So the first thing I do is I'm going to make sure that all my pages are the right way. It wouldn't be the first time I've sewed in a signature and found upside down pages. Not the end of the world. Usually most things can be fixed without too much trouble. And I look at it, it's a junk journal. If something isn't quite right, it's okay. And it looks like we are all good for that. Now we all know that when we put our pages together, some stick out further than others. I did trim the last few pages down. Just a tiny little bit. So I'm going to start by, I'm going to make sure that all my pages are kind of together by just tapping them a little bit. And I look on the end. I don't know if you can see or not, but I just kind of look to make sure that they don't seem out of whack. I'm going to bring in my cover. And I usually turn it this way. And then I'm going to kind of just line it up so I get the same amount here and over here. It doesn't have to be exact or anything. And I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to find my middle. And I'm just going to poke my finger there. Like, it's kind of hard to see because it's at bad angle, but I'm just going to poke my finger and kind of hold my signature down. And then I'm going to grab it like this. Now, I do the same with other journals too. So, and like I say, I struggle, and this is the easiest way I find. Now I'm going to put 2 of these on, like that. And that's kind of going to hold my papers in place. But now you can see that the papers are kind of crooked in there. So when I go to this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to press down right in the middle, and I'm going to hold it down. I'm going to grab it the same way. One finger in there, and holding it in place so they don't move as much. And I'm going to put 2 of these on this end. That's going to hold everything together. One word of advice that I would give is don't try to do too many pages. I think there's about 15 to 18 pages in these, and I would definitely not go any more than that. 10, 12 is a really nice number. The less papers, the easier it is to sew in. So there is that part for now. Now, while it's like this, I try not to open it all the way up, because otherwise your center tends to go up and it could pull your pages down, if that makes sense. Now, I've got my template. I am doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch on these. I normally only do 3. But because these journals are long and skinny, I decided I was going to do a 5 one. I always put top on it. Why, I don't really know, but that way I know that goes to the top. That gets slid in the middle. I'm bringing in my phone book, and I'm just going to open it up. This makes a great little cradle for your journal to sit in while you're doing this part. Now I'm going to make sure that my whole template is right in the middle. Get my awl. Now this is going to be hard for you to see because my hands are going to be in the way, but I've got my 5 spots to punch, and I want to make sure everything is straight up and down. And I'm just going to go and I'm going to push my awl in, and to get it out I turn it and pull it out. That way it's not really stuck in the paper that way. And push down, and I gotta push quite hard because I'm going through lots of papers, and then the cover, the glue, the lace, just everything. Now of course I'm going to go through all 5 holes. And then when I'm all done, when I pull it up, I'm going to cross my fingers that all the holes are nice on the edge. I can take my template out, and I can get rid of my phone book. Phone book works really good for this. I know some people have like a cradle for their journals and all that. You can see my holes. They're pretty good. That one there is messed up. So we're going to have to try and fix that one in a second here. Now I take my awl again, and I leave my journal on its side like this. I put my awl into the hole, and I just put it through because I don't know how far the awl has gone through when it's in my phone book. And again, I turn it when I'm going to pull it out. I can't really show you in here because I don't want to open the journal up. But basically I'm just pushing it through the holes again because I want to make sure that the hole has gone up over the thin part of the awl, because that's going to make it a lot easier for my needle to go through it all. I got this one, and we got this one. Now this was the hole that was messed up, and I'm not sure, can you see the hole? It's way up over here. I definitely do not want it there. That is a little too far. So when I put it into this hole here, I'm going to make a new hole, and the hole, there we go, it's coming out in a good spot. Now that one could create problems when I go to push it in. Now you can see the paper, I don't know if you can see it, but the paper's lifting on a couple of them. That's okay because I'm putting lace over there. I very rarely just leave a bare spine on them. I usually always put lace. It enforces the spine. And I find a lot of the times, and again, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little cracks in the paper. And putting a piece of fabric or tape, lace, anything like that, just helps cover that up. Now I have my needle. This is a big long needle, and I love these needles. It is, let's see how long it is. It's 3.5 inches long. Now these, I believe, I want to say they're for doll making, because you know sometimes you got to go through like an arm, a leg, whatever. And I think that's what was advertised. I bought them online. Where, I have no idea. but I got like 20 or 30 of them or something at the time. So I have broken a couple. This one is getting bent, so I'll probably get a new one out pretty soon, because sometimes that bend can throw you off when you're trying to put it through. And forgive me if I go off of camera, because I'm going to be moving my journal around a lot through this process. Now with the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, I want my end threads to be on the outside. So I'm going to start from the outside, and I'm going to go through this first hole. Now I don't want to like force it through there, because I don't want it to end up somewhere where it shouldn't. So if it's following the hole, it should move through fairly easy. And I can feel the needle on the inside. So I'm going to just pull this through. I try not to wiggle my needle a lot when I'm pulling it through, because then I find the holes get a little bit too big. I'm going to leave about, I don't know, 7 inches or so on the outside. And now I'm going to go through the second hole. Now at this point, I don't care which one is the top, which is the bottom, because it really does not matter. So I'm going to come out here, and then I'm going to go back in this way. Now this is the hole that was messed up. Oh, perfect. I can feel my needle already on the other side. And pull it through. Now I want to come back down over to this side, so I'm going to go back down the second hole. I try my best not to snag my other thread, because that can mess you up, but sometimes it's really hard not to. So now I'm going to go way down to this hole down here. I'm going to miss the middle one, and I'm going to go way down to here. And I do put my fingers on the other side, because then I can feel as soon as my needle pops through. And if it doesn't pop through by a certain point, then I know it's in the wrong spot. Sometimes just a little bit of the wrong angle. And I'll try a few times. And it doesn't seem... because I don't want to force it in there, because I don't want to make a second hole. So what I will do sometimes is come back into here, and I'll just put my needle through the hole coming from the other side. And of course it does come through nice. So it's just a matter of being at the wrong angle. So let's try to get it. There we go. Sometimes when I have a difficult hole like that, I will actually take the thread out of my needle. I'll go to the inside, and then I actually put the eye of the needle through the hole, and then I'll rethread my needle and pull it through, and that actually works. I like the combination of this needle and my awl, because the awl is just a little bit bigger. If I have to force the needle through too much, then I find that you're wiggling it, and then it makes a great big huge hole. So now that I'm on the inside of the book, I'm going to go through the very bottom hole this time and pull that through. Now I'm not worrying too much about my threads being really tight. I tighten mine up afterwards. Now I'm going to go back up through this second hole, and that worked perfect. Okay, and then I'm going from the inside to the outside of this other hole. Now when I do this, we've got this here string that's gone from there to there. This end is on the underside of it. So this one I want it to go over. Just like that. So we have all the holes filled. Now this is really loose, which is okay for now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thread. I'm just going to kind of hold my journal and I'm going to pull, which is tightening that long piece up, and then I'll tighten that up by doing that. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this end. So that's reasonably tight. Now I can take these things off. Now at this stage, I want to make sure that my thread has gone through nicely. So I'm going to look down here and make sure that there's no bunches of thread. Now I've done journals and I've ended up with a knot or something inside it, and I didn't even know it. So I always just take a quick second to just look through, and I'm just glancing down all of these to make sure that everything is fit. The two places I check the most are at the front, the back, and the very middle. But this gives me a good idea, and maybe I missed a page that was upside down. Usually I don't worry about it. Once I get it to this point, the papers are staying in no matter what. And either the writing is upside down or it can be something. Now you can see here, those all look nice. And I pick the thread that I like that matches the middle page. And I do that because that's what I'm going to see. I'm not going to see the outside because I'm going to cover it. And I don't usually put the strings on the inside, and I don't usually hang anything from them. I have, but as a general rule, no. So everything looks good so far in those places. And if I'm doing a multi-signature book, I kind of go through the same steps with each signature. So it looks like we're good. I'm going to give these just a little tug. Don't pull too hard. And I'm going to check just to make sure that these are tight. Now remember our two strings. We've got one going one way, one going the other way, and this one is in between them. Now we're going to tie this and I'm actually very happy because that all went quite well. And I'm going to put 3 knots in there, and I will glue that as well. I'm going to cut off these. Now you could leave those longer and hang stuff from them. Now when you look at it from here, they're all pretty good except this end one. Not the end of the world. It will be okay. So now that signature is sewn in, and I can go ahead. You can see the pages didn't. There's one page that seems a little bit longer, and that's okay. So far we've just got a pocket in the front and the back. So my next step for these is I want to make a front for them. Now I've already done a video similar to what I'm going to make for this. I did the picture with the laces on the bottom. I'm going to do something similar to with these, except a longer picture, maybe a few more pieces of lace. 3/4 of the front will be covered with the journal topper, I think, at this point. Got to experiment, and I'm not sure what I want to do for the picture on the front of them yet. Whether I want to use a picture or maybe take one of the pages. Like this one, I would obviously do something with butterflies. So maybe a picture of a couple butterflies on there. Not quite sure, but being that I have them done, now I can think about that a little more. So I'll dig out some stuff that I have. And I'm really hoping I can have these ready by Thursday. I'm making this video on a Monday, and by the time you see these, the craft sales will already be over. But I really want to take them to the craft sale to try and sell that I'm going to with my sister. So I'm hoping. And once I get to the inside, I'll probably just put in a few pockets and make a few tags, etc. I'm not going to do anything too fancy in the inside because these are kind of meant for a low budget journal, I guess, for a better choice of words. I don't want them to be like super expensive because people are having trouble these days affording stuff. I know around here, like, food has gone up crazy amount. So I want them to be like a low budget journal. So that's my next plan. I will show you the journal toppers, and if I make them differently than my last ones, then I'll show you. But if not, I'll just show you me putting them on and maybe putting in a few pockets. Pockets and tags and stuff are going to be very simple because I want them done. I don't want to spend that time on them if they're going to be low budget ones, but I want them to be nice, if that makes sense. So hope you enjoyed this putting in the signature. I'm very proud of myself for doing that relatively painlessly, and hope you can follow my directions. But there we go, and we will see you soon in another part of this. Bye for now.